Welcome to the Outdoor Test Kitchen Podcast. I'm your host, Seth, along with Tim, and together we'll be discussing all things cooking, camping, and everything in between. We've got an exciting episode in store for you this week, so let's get started. All right. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the OTK Podcast. I'm Seth.
This is Tim. This is the first episode of OTK Podcasts.
Yes, it is. And we've got a fun little episode planned for you.
Yeah.
And, well, what did we do this week? We had a pretty good week.
Yeah, we had a pretty great week, actually. A lot of hiking, a lot of outdoors activities. You know, we did quite a bit, actually. But one thing that really stuck out was going out to the cast iron cooking.
Yes, out at one of our local state parks that we frequent quite often.
Yeah, actually.
They do once a month a cast iron or Dutch oven cooking demo.
What Saturday? It's always
the second Saturday of the month.
Yeah, second Saturday of the month. And I think that's actually the same throughout Texas. All of the groups go out on the first or the second Saturday of each month.
But
so
it was a fun event.
We
made chicken and dumplings, and then you made.
Yeah, actually, I made our ooey gooey cheesy bread, which recipe is on our website, outdoortestkitchen.org.
Yes, it is.
It's a really good cheesy bread. It's garlic cheesy bread. I mean, it's really versatile. You can do all kinds of, do what you like really with it. You love a specific cheese, put it in there.
Well, yeah, but the best thing about it's on a weekend, and a benefit of it, you don't have to go out there to cook. You can go out there and enjoy.
Yeah.
But one of the best things of how to take advantage of the state park system, and it doesn't matter really what state you are, is most of them offer a state park pass for yearly entry fees. And that's what we're kind of going to talk about and go through. There's some really awesome park passes. There's some states that don't require it.
Yeah.
And there's some states that require it for residents. And
then there's kind of this weird spot where some require some kind of weird little detail, which we'll get into in a little bit. But
with Texas state parks,
yeah.
Because we're down in Texas, our pass is, I think, $70 a year.
Yeah, $70 a year, and you get full access.
Yeah, plus you get some really good discounts. You get discounts in camping, at their park stores. So, basically, if you calculate the entry fee, which is per person, with the pass, it's per vehicle. So however many people you can pack in a vehicle, they're all entered for free.
Exactly.
But if you're camping, it's great because it gives you a discount.
Yeah, it gives you a discount for camping, which is actually really awesome.
And the daily fees, because if you camp, you're still getting charged your entry fee daily. So with the park pass, you don't have to worry about it.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's just nice to be able to keep that pass on you. And no matter where you are in Texas, you go to state park and it's not a problem. You just show your pass. They give you a little sticker. You put it in your window. You can go in. It's just nice.
And we looked up a bunch of different other states. There's a lot of good ones. Missouri, there's no charge at all. And that's resident or non-resident from what we looked up. Now, there are some states that if you're a resident, it's free. But if you're not a resident, you still have to pay. But they do a lot of them, like Iowa State Park. If you're out of state, you can get a pass. So if you're close to Iowa and you're going to Iowa State Parks, but you're not from Iowa, it's beneficial.
Yeah.
And I think the pass program in most states, it's a really great program.
Yeah, I think that really most states should have a pass program. Now, it sounds kind of odd, saying that states should charge you to go to a state park. But if you really think about it, you're going to get what you pay for. So if your park program is completely free, truly, I'm not saying this from experience, but from what I can imagine, is if your park system is free, you're going to deal with a lot more trash in your parks. You're going to deal with a lot more riffraff. I mean, let's just...
They won't have the funds to keep it clean.
Yeah.
And some have a great park host volunteer, which is an awesome, on a side note of passes, if you have the time or you are a remote worker, the host program in a lot of states gets you the entry fee and you basically just live out the park for free, although they usually require,
I mean, what, Texas
24 hours worth of work.
20 to 24 hours of work, which...
So it's like 2 or 3 days out of the week, you're maybe working in the office, checking people in. You could be helping clean up park sites. So, the volunteers are... I think that's a great program that a lot of states should adopt.
And from a individual standpoint, let's be honest, 24 hours of work, that's utilities and accommodations, like the whole shebang you're paid for.
Yeah. Electric, plumbing, everything.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's decent. And in Texas, I can't really say every park, but at least most of the parks, if they don't have a sewage system for the visitors, for the park hosts, they have some sort of accommodation so that you don't have to go off premise and relieve your tanks. Yeah. So.
Exactly. So, no matter what state you're in, I think it's really great if you look up your park system. And I know there's a lot of people that use BLM land and federal land.
Yeah.
But really look at the state land, because honestly, no matter what state you're in, because I used to live in Ohio and I loved their parks. Now, it was free entry, but they had camping fees. They had different little fees if you wanted to do different activities, but their parks were great parks. Oh, son of a...
Yeah. Son of a beep. It's okay. That's why we have multiple things going. Anyways, continue.
Yes.
Things happen. 001. Come on, guys.
Yes.
So, this is a slight insert rather than having to do this in post. We didn't press the record button on our unit. So, up until now, you've been listening to scratch audio. Sorry about it, but here we go.
There's a lot of buttons you got to press.
It's first time. Come on. We should have known, but we didn't. Anyways.
Now, what were we talking? Oh, state park passes.
Yeah, state park passes.
But I think a lot of people should look into whatever state you're going into. Look at the state, not just BLM, not just federal land. Actually look in to see what state you want to travel to. And if you live in that state, utilize those state parks. They're there for you and they're for your enjoyment. But just remember, take care of them. Like you take care of your own house or property.
Yeah, I mean...
Don't leave trash. Don't, always police your camp area. Or if you're just going out on a day hike, you see some little trash. There's nothing wrong with picking it up. And most of every park I know has trash cans throughout the park.
Yeah, and this is something that you restaurant people may have heard before. Full hands in, full hands out. You bring something in, you take it out.
Yes.
Don't leave it in the park, because all you're doing is wasting somebody's time, whether it be one of the employees that are working at the park or one of us that are hiking on the trail and we got to stop by, we got to pick up your trash. No, it's not very hard to take your trash out and put it in a trash can.
No, and it keeps it going for everybody else.
Yeah.
Obviously we're all outdoors people. We love camping.
That's right.
We hike every single day. Luckily, we're fortunate enough that we're usually in a park or near a park every day of the week. So we take advantage of our park pass. And, when you're thinking about park fees, park fees are usually not that much, from $3 to $5, sometimes maybe more. But if you're going, 4 or 5 times a year, it's worth getting it. And plus it might encourage you to utilize your parks more often.
Well, yeah, and then there's this little snippet. Oklahoma, they say they don't charge any kind of park fees, right? But as soon as you get there, there's a parking fee. And what is it? The $7? Is that right?
I'd have to double check on it, but I just know. Yes, I know.
I mean, it's a fee, and if you go to a park 5 to 10 times a year, it's going to be beneficial to have a park pass, and no matter what state you're going in, unless what is it, Missouri, that there's no fees at all.
Yeah,
I think Missouri's like the only one.
But, well, yes, and no entrance fees at least. They probably have camping fees.
Yeah,
I have to double check. But wherever you are, man, every state there is a website for the park where you can get that information.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you what, a lot of state parks are taken better care of than BLM or federal lands, because a lot of the federal lands are just out there. You can go to Reserve Gov and get your permit, but they have some rangers. And I mean, we were on federal land out on logging roads having a good time. But that was a lot of fun, but we were staying at an actual state park because the amenities were much better.
Exactly.
A lot of federal lands may not have bathrooms. They may not have a bunch of different facilities. So,
yeah, they're more for your kind of. How do I want to say this? When you don't really need the accommodations, BLM land.
The federal land, yes. If you're boondocking, or you're in a self-contained unit, or you have your water and everything, like basically primitive.
Yeah, exactly. Primitive camping. That's what I was searching for. I mean, that's BLM land. You're hunting, or you're doing something that's not really your typical thing that you're going to do at a state park.
Oh, so guys, the biggest thing that we can recommend to always enjoying your outdoors is, man, really look in the park pass systems.
Yeah, do your
Sometimes
research.
they're called passports, but they're really worth it, and they're not that much comparatively. And a lot of the ones I looked up, I mean, they under $100 a year for a great time.
Yeah,
And your family can go. I mean, it really gets you out there, back in tune with nature.
Yeah, and when you're out in there, you're getting in tune with nature. It really is beneficial to your mental health. Even if you're genuinely just a happy person, it's just going to make it that much better.
No, that's totally true. And if you guys want more information on it, you can check out our website. We'll be getting some stuff on it. Or you can also go to tripsavvy.com and just search state park entrance passes. And they have a great article by Darren Smith that really breaks down and has some good links of all 50 states.
Yeah.
So, guys, check it out.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Well, it's getting that time. Oh, it's the time. It's time for the recipe of the week, where we break down one of our favorite recipes and give you guys all the details. So let's get cooking.
Alrighty, guys. So, recipe of the week.
What are we doing this week?
We have done a hollandaise sauce, but we call it our OTK Holiday sauce.
Yes.
Now, it was kind of just a fun play on words, but it is absolutely the easiest cheat, and I would go on a limb and say the best tasting cheat for a holiday sauce.
I would agree as well.
I mean, so when you count easy and delicious, it's got to be the best. And this, it's not because we made it. It's just genuinely, I truly believe that this is a sauce that just takes it to that next level.
Well, yes, and with hollandaise sauce, I mean, it can be challenging. You can break it. Plus, you got to separate your egg yolks, hot butter. I mean, you really want to do that at a campsite, but I'm telling you what, there's not a better showstopper and oohing and awing when you serve eggs Benedict for breakfast out at a campsite. Everybody there will be like, what's going on? This
I mean, you're absolutely right. When it, on our website, we have our hollandaise sauce on there, OTK. I mean, the outdoortestkitchen.org. And when you see the picture of the hollandaise sauce on those egg Benedicts, you're gonna say, "You made that at a campsite?"
Yes, at a campsite. Like, and it
yeah.
was easy, and plus, poaching eggs is very easy and a great way to serve a lot of eggs quick and fast.
I would say it's easy, but you need to know some sort of technique.
But we'll get into that on a later date. There'll be another recipe.
Yeah.
But right now, the holiday sauce can be done warm or it can be cold. Your traditional hollandaise is going to get confusing, I can tell. Sauce, it's typically served warm, and if you let it cool, it over thickens, and you got to water it down a little bit. There's a lot of cheats. I mean, we used to run brunches in restaurants all the time, and eggs Benedict was
and that's why
out the window.
This is so great, because whenever you're at a campsite, you want to be enjoying nature, you want to be going having fun, but also, let's be honest, we all care about our food, so we want it to taste good. And so with this, you don't have to know any techniques. Zero. You just mix it together and it's ready to go.
Yes, and the best thing, you can, unlike a hollandaise sauce, you can't make it ahead of time because really you only have 1 day of holding on that, and that's really kind of cheating it, but that's more restaurant. Sorry, dirty secrets of the industry. But this, you can make it ahead, and it has a shelf life of over 14 days because basically it is, well, we're about to tell you the recipe, but it's very simple and it's very shelf-stable ingredients, but it has a lot of flavor, and it mimics a hollandaise sauce very well that many people would not be able to tell a difference. And honestly, some people, that overly richness of the egg yolks and butter may turn off a lot of people because it's a little overly rich. Now, this has a nice balance, and it's very easy to make. So
and so with our hollandaise sauce, it's a mayo and sour cream base. So that's how you can tell it's going to be easy. It's mayo and sour cream, but we do add a couple of other ingredients like lemon juice to add that little bit of citrus in there, and some seasonings to add some flavor, like the paprika and some Tabasco sauce.
Yes, Tabasco, and you add a little turmeric.
Yeah, some
To
turmeric.
give it a little color.
Yeah, the turmeric is really just for the color, but I mean, it adds minimal flavor, but it really is just for the color. And then the final ingredient's the Dijon mustard, which you can't skip out on that. That does add a lot of flavor.
Well, because it gives a nice acidity balance that it needs.
Yeah.
But real quick, run down the recipe in case they're following along. I mean, you can find this recipe at outdoortestkitchen.org, or you can jot it down really quick because it is simple. Not that many ingredients, and it just whisks together.
Yeah, so we've got a half a cup of mayo, a half of cup of sour cream, 1 lemon juiced, 1 teaspoon of Dijon mustard, a half of a teaspoon of paprika, 2 dashes of Tabasco sauce, and 1/8 of a teaspoon of turmeric. Now with that turmeric, like we said, that's for the color, so you're going to want to add that to get the color. So you may need a little more, you may need a little less, but just kind of do it to get what color you want.
But the flavor it's a great profile. And if you want to do it, put it in a little saucepan. You can warm it up, pour it on top of your eggs. We did it on top of asparagus.
Yeah.
We've
done it on eggs Benedict, of course, we've talked about that. We've done it on crab cakes, deviled mushroom, which is something that we've kind of been developing, and kind of a stuffed avocado with...
I did chicken salad. We did our pulled chicken salad and then drizzled that because this is a great recipe because it can be done cold too. I've even put it on a sandwich spread when I was like, you know what? I want a little more than just a mayo mustard spread. So I was like, I'll use that. And it was delicious. So there's a lot more uses than even a traditional hollandaise sauce because it is stable and you can throw it in your fridge or your cooler and just add it to whatever little garnish. You can, man, cook up a nice steak, a filet, drizzle a little of that over top of it.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's not. Yeah, I mean, it's such a versatile sauce, and so some of you, even though we may not agree with you, you don't like sour cream. So a substitute, and kind of quotation marks healthier substitute, would be the Greek yogurt. So instead of sour cream, you
plain Greek yogurt.
Yeah, exactly, plain Greek yogurt, and you can substitute that for the sour cream.
And really, honestly, I personally usually interchange. If it calls for sour cream, I'm pretty much going to use a plain Greek yogurt, and I know a lot of them are usually a skim milk or 2% Greek. I usually try to find a whole milk Greek yogurt plain because it has the best flavor. And I'm sorry, if you're hiking and you're burning the calories, you don't have to worry about the calories you eat.
That's true. Isn't that why we go hiking? So
we can eat better.
I mean, come on.
I might need to hike a little more, but I'm still going to eat good. Regardless.
Don't we all? But, I mean, just getting outdoors and enjoying some food, an easy recipe, it just makes it all the much better.
Yes, and it will wow everybody at the campsite. And guys, in camping, it's a fun activity. And I understand if you're backpacking or something, freeze-dried foods, great substitute. We've tried some really good ones, actually.
Yeah, actually, they're not bad.
But, I mean, really, if we're going out camping, we want easy meals, but we want good meals. We just don't want a bag of potato chips and some hot dogs and hot dog buns. Yeah, there's a place for it, and it's fun.
Yeah, but let's be honest. Every time you go camping, it shouldn't be a hot dog or a hamburger. Come on, mix it up. Let's
change your menu. Make the eating a part of your camping adventure as well, because I mean you're going to be spending time around the campsite. I mean that's the fun part, the relaxing part.
Yeah.
Start your fire. I mean, great Dutch. That's why we loved going on that Dutch Oven Society, learning different techniques and recipes from people, and that's the fun, and it brings all of us together at the picnic table.
That's true.
And sometimes we have busy lives, but if you and your family are taking the time to camp, you are together. So take the time to sit and eat together and talk about the day, the adventures that you went, the hikes, the fish you caught. I mean, that's the time. I understand lunch can be a little rushed, but dude, chicken salad with a little hollandaise sauce on it, quick, easy, fast lunch.
I mean, you couldn't ask for...
And breakfast. You're going to start a little fire, warm up your coffee. Man, even if you don't poach your eggs, you can scramble them on top of some biscuits or English muffins, put the hollandaise sauce on it, and you're having an amazing meal. I'm sorry, you are, regardless. Yep. It's the fun part of learning different techniques and interchanging flavors, and really everybody, if you're eating good, everybody's got smiles on their face, and it just starts your day of adventure.
And honestly, one of my favorite styles of cooking is over an open fire. It's just, I mean, personally, as you get to know me, I love fire. So cooking on it is it's just fun. To me, I love doing it. So whenever you can wake up on an early morning, make that coffee in your percolator. Could even do it over the fire.
Which we do many times.
Yep. Fry an egg in your skillet over an open fire. It just makes you feel like you're coming back to that I don't know how to describe it, but just such an enjoyable environment where you're getting back in touch with nature. And
yes, it's that primitive, back to open fire. I mean, you trust me, we test and we go through a lot of different camping gear, to try to make things easy. But if you want to break it down, the easiest thing is a cast iron and an open fire. And you can do and cook pretty much anything you want.
Yeah, I mean, I think we could go on a limb and say with the right technique, you could cook anything in a Dutch oven / cast iron and a fire.
Yeah,
I really think that.
I mean, we've cooked chicken with tiki torches strung up on a string over an open fire, spinning it.
Yep.
And it was some of the best chicken.
Yep. We've also cooked a pizza.
Yes, over an open fire with making our own little pizza oven. Yeah,
the state park camps, they have these little fire rings with grates where you can cook on, like the little grills. We just use some foil. Again, we'll probably show you this in the future, but we make it into a little oven, and that's kind of how we did that.
Yeah, and they turned out great.
Yeah.
So, guys, just remember, go check out, get this recipe, and I promise you can make it at home. You don't have to just make it at camp. Just try it out, and you will love it.
Yeah, and this, you bring up a good point with saying, even if it's not the campsite, if you're a van lifer, if you're in an RV, even if you're just a mom at the house or a dad at the house, and you just want to cook a good meal. You want to make
quick, fast, easy meal.
Yeah, I mean, these aren't only recipes for the campsite, but that's just a way for us to express to you how easy it is. You can do it at the campsite.
Yes.
So,
and if it's easy at the campsite, you know it's going to be easy at home.
Exactly. So don't forget outdoortestkitchen.org, and you can find all of our great recipes.
Yes, and we're adding them daily.
Exactly. So,
all right. Well, that is it for the recipe of the week. So be sure to check out the OTK Holiday sauce the next time you go out. But now, time for the news. Brought to you by OutdoorTestKitchen.org, the website that is there to help you with all your camping and cooking needs. Now, to the news. All right, and yes, our last segment, we're always going to try to give you some camp news to keep y'all up to date on things. And today we're going to be talking about the Starlink system. I know some people may be, well, Starlink's been out for a little while, but they have made changes as of May of 2003, even though it's June, but these changes are still in the process of occurring.
Yeah, I mean, their website, it's just kind of starting to change. So they still got their old stuff, but they got their new stuff. So that's why it's kind of a little lighter in the. So
we're kind of gonna break down what the changes are and what's about to come, and really see, is Starlink actually worth investing in now? I mean, I admit when it first came out. And luckily, I will make a note that some of the research we've done, that if you've already had Starlink, you're kind of grandfathered in.
Yeah.
So you guys lucked out, and it's probably still a good deal. But again,
well, hey,
so long.
It's still potential for it to be a good deal.
Yes, it is. I just
it really depends on your personal situation. That's really what it boils down to. But I think we should get into kind of what the changes are and truly what it is.
Yes. Well, for our tech ambassador, I'll hand it over to you.
All right. Well, techie, I guess.
I rub two sticks together. That's how you make fun.
So, I mean, they've, of course, got their residential, their roam, and their business, right? They've kind of changed the names, but the general premise is still there. So with your standard plan, it's really designed for a single location. Now, of course, you can still move, you can travel around, but when I say travel, I mean you can move as in you can buy a new house, you can submit that you're buying a new house, and you can go there and your internet will still work. But you cannot take that with you on a weekend trip to, let's say, if you live in North Carolina, you can't take that with you on a weekend trip to Florida.
Even though there are people that have done that and say that it still works, but with a lot of these changes,
you're right. It still works, but
it's against the service agreement.
Yeah.
And now that I think they're really,
Yeah,
with any company going to try to turn a profit, they're going to be looking more into violations of their service agreement.
It's very blatantly against their terms of service. And with these changes that we're going to get into more in depth, you'll notice that it appears that they're going to get to a point where they're going to be enforcing these terms of service. And you've got all of these people on a wait list. So if you ruin those terms of service, I mean, they will replace you, and they don't have an issue because they've got hundreds of people waiting, maybe thousands. I'm not sure on the wait list, but they've got people waiting. So
let's kind of break down the new. They kind of call it their standard priority, mobile, and mobile priority.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, what is that? How is that different from their changes? Or what are their changes from their original?
Yeah. So a big change, like we've kind of already went in depth on, is the standard and the priority. You cannot change your location. So with the standard, it's your basic unlimited high-speed access, low latency internet, and that starts at most locations, so high-use locations, $120 a month. If you're in a low-usage location, it's going to be $90 a month. But it plan for $120. I mean, because once this fully rolls out, it's as you do your research, you're going to notice it's going to be $120 a month for standard. But once you get into that standard priority, you're going to notice that, of course, you still have the unlimited data, but you have that priority. So in those times where there's high usage, you're going to be in that top class where you don't get throttled. That being said, you've got a priority support, you've got a public IP address, but this is the real kicker on that, is for a single terabyte, you're going to be looking at $250 a month. Now, to give you a little bit of a idea of where that fits, because you may not be so informed on how much you're using. We use Netflix.
Yes, on our
Voodoo.
personal, not on our business.
Yeah, this is
internet.
personal.
This is
use.
our
This
personal internet usage that you looked up, and
It's about 500 gigs to 900 gigs of usage, and that's just us personal watching YouTube, watching Netflix, watching Amazon. I mean, that's just normal usage that we go through. So you're looking at a minimum of $250 a month with that priority access. So if you're somebody that needs that internet speed, so if you work from home
at those high peak times, right?
Yeah, exactly. At the high peak times. So look, I mean, non-peak times, you're gonna get decent speeds, but we have heard reports of people getting as low as 5 megabytes a second. So if you are somebody that's working from home and you need to stream in to a meeting, it's, depending on where you're at, it's not going to work for the standard access. You're going to need that priority.
Yes.
And
their priority
starts
at 250, but it goes, and that's for 1 terabyte.
That's for 1 terabyte.
It will go up to $1,500 a month for 6 terabytes. And I understand that's more business oriented, but we've had restaurants, and that's still a little high for, at one restaurant, I mean, we had fiber.
Yeah, fiber optic.
And it was about $800 a month.
Yeah.
For the fastest fiber that they offered. Now, granted, if you're in an area that doesn't offer fiber, cable, or anything, in a very rural area, but then again, is there coverage going to be in that rural area?
Yeah, I mean,
to justify that type of money in your business, when there are, and we're going to talk about a couple of different options, or another option that we use personally.
Yeah. But I mean, to kind of sum up the standard priority, it's 1 terabyte for $250 a month. Sorry, and for 2 terabytes, it's $500 a month, and for 6 terabytes, it's $1,500 a month. But now let's talk about more of our our RV crowd, our van life, our mobile crowd, right? And that's kind of what they call it. They call this the mobile version. You've got that unlimited mobile data. Specifically, they specify on land, and it, of course, it's portable. Unlike the other two, where you can't really move it unless you change your address.
Now,
And
it's a little confusing that they call it mobile, because most mobile you think in motion.
Yeah.
It is portable, so you can take it from this location to the next location, but you can't use it in transit.
exactly. So if you're somebody that's a van lifer, and once again, you stream from home, and you have, for this specific example, let's say you're going from California to Texas, as a lot of people are doing, and you have to have this meeting at 2 p.m., but you want to drive throughout the day. You cannot use your mobile access hotspot or Starlink hotspot. I mean, anyways.
You might need to be paying attention to driving and not having a meeting.
Well, okay. This example is you have somebody driving, right? But you couldn't utilize this while you're driving, according to terms of service. I'm sure it's probably still going to work.
There are
It's probably
reports
still
that
going
it
to work.
has worked, but
But let's say they start getting strict. They want to say, no, look, this is your terms of service. You signed this agreement. This is you're gonna hold this standard. Well, then for $150 a month, it's not going to work for you. And that's for regional. So your continent, you can utilize it for $150 a month. You can change locations and you can pause service. This is different, right? So mobile, you can pause the service. Standard priority, you cannot. So mobile, you can pause your service. $150 a month. Now, if you want to venture out into the water, you want to venture out to another continent with the same thing, well, let's say that month, okay, you want to say, hey, I'm going to go to this location. I want to pay $200 a month. That's their mobile global price, $200 a month. But like we said, they've got 4 options. So we've got mobile priority. So we kind of get into more of the option that most van life, most travel people, they're going to want this option just because of the general idea of you can use it while you're driving, right? Now, so you can, of course, use it as a global service, which is nice. You can use it in motion. You can use it in the ocean. Yes. You've got priority service, and you've got priority support, unlike all of the other options. So you've got more of a dedicated support system. So if you're having issues, you can get help fairly much quicker than other people could.
yes, but I think the price tag is, I'm sorry, I'll tell the kids in the back, well, download and watch. Because the price tag, what he's about to tell you for the amount of information.
No, yeah, this
is the downfall to
I'm
it.
kind of leading up to that, I guess you could say, is, look, this is what people are really thinking about going to Starlink for. Like, this is what's going to make somebody decide, am I going to it? It's 50 gigs for $250 a month.
That's, and how much do we use personally in a month? Non-business related?
Highest is 900 gigs a month. So just imagine that.
We watch way too much Netflix.
Maybe. That might be true. No. Then we've got 1 terabyte, $1,000 a month. Then we've got 5 terabytes, $5,000 a month. Keep in mind, they don't give you a price break for using more. It's $1,000 for 1 terabyte, $5,000 for 5. And tell me if I'm wrong, but I believe for every gigabyte you go over, it's $2.
I'm not 100% sure on that, but it wouldn't surprise me if that's where they're going towards, like most companies.
Oh yeah, I can guarantee you that it's $2.
I see it now on my paper. I need my glasses.
But yeah, so in the basic premise of it, what we think about Starlink is It really depends on what you want. So we have our T-Mobile hotspot, right? And to be honest, according to our terms of service, you change locations, you're breaking terms of service. But, it's still working. They don't appear to be enforcing that at all. At least currently, they're not changing any
now
prices.
We just told them that we violate their terms of service. They're going to cancel our internet.
Well,
Although the T-Mobile person did tell us that
they told us to do this.
This is what is good for RVs and campers alike, is because technically you can move.
Yeah. So when it really comes down to the nuts and bolts, we pay $50 a month. And like I said, we use up to 900 gigs.
And like you were saying, Starlink at bad times can go down to 5. I mean,
5, yeah.
We average.
So of course it depends on your space, but we average about 70 to 150.
We've never really had an issue with multiple TVs. He can be
0.
on a computer working. I can have one going.
No, let's be completely honest. We've had 3 TVs streaming Netflix and 2 computers
Actually,
working.
4 TVs.
Was it 4?
Yes, because we have 1, 2, 3, and then sometimes I have one in there.
Okay, yeah. So we've had 4 TVs, 2 computers, we've got and 2 phones. I mean that we weren't obviously we weren't a computer and a phone at the same time. But
speak for yourself.
Either way, it's what we're getting at is it really depends on your situation, but
and for the price point too. And
we're
so
gonna
far,
say
there's only been one park that we went to that we had a little issue with that setup, but I don't think it is a big enough issue for the amount of money that Starlink may or may not have been able to been better or worse.
Yeah,
because we were only there for 2 days.
Well, and let's not forget that the difference in speeds are pretty drastic, right? So, sorry, not speeds, in price is pretty drastic. So we pay $50 a month for the ability to go from different state parks to different state parks pretty regularly. It's $150 a month. So 50 to 150. So that's a $100 difference. Now, if you're somebody that's just, you're retired, you're going around, you're park hosting, you don't need high quality internet. You're probably just checking on Facebook, you're checking on something. You don't need to be able to upload and download content as a content creator. So the T-Mobile hotspot's going to do you just fine. I think we can say what park we went to, right? That didn't have great service with T-Mobile.
Yeah, it was Martin Creek State Park out in Tatum, Texas.
Yeah, Tatum, Texas. It was Martin Creek State Park.
And now, if you look at the map, and it was East Texas, we went out there for a couple of days. But if you look at Starlink service, they don't really. East Texas is still. So you really got to look at where their satellites are. And I understand they're growing. And there is some news of a little bit of a partnership between T-Mobile and Starlink, which we're going to get into later to see if
later on we're going to do a little more research before we get into much of that. But I think when it comes down to the nuts and bolts, unless you're in some specific area where you don't have good cell service, unless you're in that area, you're gonna not go for Starlink. So I think they have maybe a little more work to do on their packages.
Well, I think Starlink really needs to. They're gonna have to look, because right now, when they first came out, yes, the $600 investment to the equipment, it's not bad. You own it, it's good. The month-to-month term, so that you didn't have to use it. If you only need it for this month, you used it, but you had the equipment. You could turn it on and off whenever you wanted. I think the plan that they're going with, honestly, is a little more inconvenient to the consumer And personally, it turns me off from really investing into them. I'm sorry, I'll stick with the $50 a month. And so far, we've been to state parks all over, and we've had one out of it that wasn't.
One out of,
but it still kind of works. But you know what? We were out there to enjoy the park, not to sit on our phones and computers.
You're right. I don't think we said that. The T-Mobile hotspot, it worked for looking at Netflix, looking at YouTube. The only problem we had was uploading content for you guys to view. That's where we had the issue. That's the only issue.
Uploading large file, but everything else worked fine.
Yeah.
And so that's where I was really impressed with Starlink to begin with.
Yeah.
And really contemplating, but now with these changes over the past month, I don't know, guys. I don't think that it's not the right choice for us.
Yeah, and we're not saying it's not the right choice
until
for
we
you.
get a boat.
Yeah, I mean, if we were
seas.
sailing the ocean, this would be the only choice, right? Because there's not another choice.
They're really bad and really expensive. Trust me, I've used them. Not good.
But I mean, when like we said, when it comes down to it, right now for us, the right choice is our T-Mobile hotspot. But it's not to say that this can't become something that we're going to choose in the future. We're not hating on Starlink.
No, we're just
this is our experience with it, and this is what we see.
Opinion on it, and I'll just say it. I think this is some bad business choices of the packages. It's not good packages.
For the initial brand label they went for, not a good direction.
Yeah, because I'm sorry. And I know Verizon has hotspots, but I haven't really used them. But there's a lot better options out there for much more affordable pricing with the same speed, if not more. So really, I mean, when I was living in Alaska, I would have loved it. It would have been my only option. I mean, what?
That's Alaska.
So it's great
Alaska,
for that, but I don't know how many people are out there to demand that type of service. So what? Hey, guys, check it out. But like I said, we're using the T-Mobile, and if it starts going bad, we'll let you know on that.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, don't forget, I mean, you can always check us out on Instagram. You can check us out on Facebook. Check us out on YouTube. We've also got a Patreon. It's all Outdoor Test Kitchen. Outdoor Test Kitchen, OTK. Right? We've got a website too, outdoortestkitchen.org. I mean, we've got great recipes. We post content all the time. Interact with us. Let us know what you think.
Go to the website, outdoortestkitchen.org, and you can get in contact with us. Let us, give us some of your cooking ideas, some maybe equipment you want us to check out and test out for you guys, see what's the best. So just get involved, and we'll create a community.
Yeah.
And so that we can all enjoy the outdoors and eat really good. I mean, because face it, to survive, we have to eat. So why not eat good?
Exactly. I mean, that's the end goal.
Yes. So, guys, we appreciate it. And thank you for sticking staying with us. This will come out every Thursday.
Yeah, come back to us every single Thursday. We'll have the Outdoor Test podcast.
So, guys, thanks again. And remember, keep camping and keep cooking.
Yeah.